Alright, so it's going to be a little bumpy ride, but we're going to go down the highway, and I guess I'll just talk about some things that have been on my mind as well. Let's flip the screen over and get going. This bridge right here that I'm about to turn onto, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know if there's some chemical they put on it, but sometimes I'll be coming in here to load, and like my tires will slip. And then there was a time last year in the winter, this is all ice, snow and ice. There was a time last year where a guy was coming in, and you'll see this is kind of steep. Well, when he was coming in, he wasn't chained up, and he lost traction and slid back. Thank goodness it was like super early in the morning, so there wasn't traffic, but this is a highway out here that I'm about to turn onto, and when he lost traction, he slid and went back into traffic. Kind of crazy. But here's the bridge. So like, now that they put this chemical time, I even do it in the summer, but especially in the winter time, if there is any chance of there being ice, what I'll do is I'll stop right here, check my both ways, and then go. Because last thing I want to do is get up here and go to stop right here where it dips down and freaking slide and cause a fatality, man. That would not be good. So we're on the highway right now. This is going to be kind of boring probably. This is where I'm just going to talk about some things that I've been thinking about. And then once we get on the dirt, if anyone wants to be an oil field trucker, it's what it's like, man. A lot of gravel roads, a lot of horrible roads. And out here in Wyoming, North Dakota, Montana, places like that, it is nearly ice all year round. Anyways, man, some things I've been thinking about is life is crazy, you know? You can go from talking to someone every single day, you know, confiding in them, being best friends with them, in relationships, whether it's a brother, a sister, a cousin, a friend, or a spouse. And what blows my mind is how people can go from talking every day, enjoying each other, loving each other, to never speaking again, just like that. I understand a lot of times that happens. There's stuff that leads up to that point. But it's heartbreaking, man. Like when you're used to having someone to talk to, having someone to confide in, and you're so used to that bond and that relationship, and then it's just broke. It's painful. And something that I'm sure we all realize is the family unit in this country is being destroyed. And that's part of Satan's plan. Satan does not like families. Why do you think that there are so many fathers being taken out of the home? Whether it's their own stupidity and immaturity and selfishness that they decide to do it themselves, or the courts, or the mother of the kids, fathers are being taken out of the home at an unreal rate, man. And if you go and do research, I'm not saying this, I hope it's going to offend somebody, but I'm not saying this to be a jerk or to be negative or anything against women. I love women. But if you go and research a single dad raising a kid compared to a single mom raising a kid, the kid with the single dad, those kids end up better most of the time. Now, I completely understand that both are needed. What I don't get, and what irritates me, is a lot of women will think they can be the father. They can raise their son to be a man. How can you do that if you're not a man? You might think you're a man, you might identify as a man, but you're not a man. You've never been there, you won't experience it. And there's things that boys need to learn that only men can teach them. And they need a role model to look up to so that they can strive to be like that man. Hopefully, that's a good man. And even better than that man, that father figure. And girls and boys also need the nurturing side of the mother. I get that. And they need to be taught how to love and respect women. Now, there's things with my daughter that I can never teach her. Let's say when she starts her time, when she develops in puberty, how am I supposed to talk to her about that? Or how am I supposed to talk to her about the birds and bees? I mean, I can, from my point of view, but I won't have the emotion as a woman. Mothers and fathers are needed in a relationship, man, with the kids. And if it's possible, I don't understand why some people use their kids for leverage. It's doing a lot more damage to the kids than it is whoever you're trying to hurt, the parent you're trying to hurt. And that's what Satan wants, man. There's nothing more I want than my family back, and I will admit that. I accept what's going on, and I'm living with it, and I'm happy. I find joy, but to be 100% honest, my heart is shattered into a million pieces. I'm broken. But that doesn't mean I can't find joy through this storm. That doesn't mean I can't find peace through this storm. And that's what I'm doing. And I wish I would have been a better man in my relationship so none of this would have happened. Maybe it still would have, I don't know. But I know that there's things that I could have done different. I should have been more loving. You know, this last breakup between me and my spouse was both of us. And honestly, I'm not the one that started it. We were watching a Free Willy. We were going to watch Free Willy on YouTube. We were going to order it. And I jokingly looked at the price and said, "This is BS." And she thought that I was talking about her to my kids. She said, she got angry, which is understandable because that's what she thought. And she said, "I'm sick of you talking bad about me to my children," which is very understandable. But I was not talking bad about her. I was talking about Free Willy, the movie. And what I had done is I antagonized the situation. She got off our bed. We were in our room. We were going to watch it as a family in our room on our bed. Here's what I did, and I shouldn't have done it. I followed her to the living room, calling her crazy, calling her an alcoholic, telling her the only reason she's upset is because she can't get off the alcohol and she's drunk, telling her that she's starting this fight on purpose, which I don't think that was the case. At the time I did. Telling her that she's just trying to get a reaction. Those are the things I did. What I should have done, this is the lesser of the option. I should have let her go cool off, and I should have just stayed in the room with the kids and found something else to watch, right? My first option, or the option that I really should have done, is I should have given her a minute to go think, to cool off. I should have went out to her. I should have held her in my arms, and I should have said, "I understand why you might have thought I said that, but I didn't say that. And I love you, and I will not talk bad about the kids around you. You are their mother, and they need to respect you. You're a beautiful woman that I cherish. Now, can we not let this disagreement or this misunderstanding lead to a bad night? Can we just move on and go watch the movie with the kids?" Had I done that, and had I reacted in that manner a million times prior to that, maybe the one and only woman that I love be in my life. Maybe my family wouldn't be broken. Maybe the woman who gave me the desire to change in a very positive way, I could still come home to after work. But you know what? I can accept what's going on, and I can get through it. It's painful. I miss her every day. I miss her every minute. There's probably not an hour that goes by that I don't think about her at least once. This woman used to be, she still is. Well, I guess she's not my best friend because we're not talking, but she was my best friend. She was my spouse. She was my everything. And that's another thing is, you know, maybe God took her away, like I said about my kids, because I was too focused on her and the kids. I loved them too much. I wasn't putting God first. I wasn't loving God and putting Him before everything. I wasn't loving Him more than everything. And that was a mistake. I should have loved God first, and then her and the kids. And there are times I didn't show that love. I know I loved her. I mean, I would be trying to find another relationship, which I have. I've dabbled here and there, but I'm done. I've deleted the dating sites. I'm done. Like, it's not fair for me to try and get in a relationship. You know, when I was younger, I would say, you know, the best way to get over an ex, go find another one. Man, that is so toxic to do, though. And it wouldn't be fair for me to go pursue a relationship, possibly find one, while my heart is stuck on my ex. Probably always will be. So if we don't ever reunite, I'm probably going to remain single and celibate. And that's okay. I can do that. There's just so much we went through. There's so much that she put up with that she did not have to. And that's what kind of blew my boots off, man. It's like, we have struggled so bad, man, financially, relationship-wise. Dude, we have been in the pits of poverty, man. Like, living in a tiny, tiny, tiny little hotel room, not much bigger than a jail cell. I'm not lying. I couldn't keep a job. I didn't show her love and respect like I should have. And she put up with it. She put up with so much. And then this situation I'm talking about with the Free Willy movie is what broke it. Like, man, dude, like, I must have, like I said, I must have been doing things that pushed her to that point. And I'll forever regret that. And I wish that I could have a chance to show her the peace and happiness that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ can bring. To be an example, a loving example. Not to be a bully, not to sit there and poke at her and point out her flaws and tell her she's crazy and she's an alcoholic, but to just lead by example. Hoping and having faith that my example would bring her to the Lord, and that we could become a power couple and raise our kids through the power of Jesus Christ, inviting Him and His Holy Spirit into our family. Because I know if I would have been like that, man, we would be unstoppable. She wouldn't have had the desire to go hang out with the influences she was hanging out with. She wouldn't have been so stressed out, possibly. There's so much I could have done different, man. And if anyone's watching this that's in a similar situation before it's too late, that your relationship hasn't broken, man, treat women with love. They are gentle. They are fragile. And I mean that in a good way. They are very strong. Very strong. Very, very strong. But they're different on an emotional level, right? They need love. They need to feel loved. They need to feel wanted. They need to feel secure. They need to feel cared about. And I was failing making amazing and allowing an amazing woman who's beautiful inside and out to feel wanted, to feel appreciated, to feel loved, to feel securement. I failed to add fuel to her confidence, and I regret that. So I'm not on here acting like a victim, because I'm not a victim. I'm not on here to say my ex is a horrible person. I'm not on here to blame, man. I'm on here to share my experience in life, talk about things I think about, things that I go through, and I'll never lie, man. I'll never lie. Why? Why lie? I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be raw, and I'm gonna be honest. Okay, here's the gravel. Now over this cattle guard, it don't look like it, but it's a big dip, so I gotta go super slow. Bam. But like I was saying, women need that, man. They need love. And there's so many men that talk bad on women and, you know, just try and put them down. Women deserve to feel strong, confident, because they are. But they need to feel love. They need a man, if they choose that route, who is going to make them feel as God would want them to feel. A man is supposed to treat his woman like the Lord treats his church, and I failed at that. And now I'm out here trucking in the oil field. I was before. I was in a relationship as well. Alone. Which has been a very good thing, a very positive thing for growth. And I'm going to continue to look at it. But man, I wish it would end. Like, I wish I could have my family back. You know what, dude? Like, this might sound selfish and sad, but there were times my kids would cry when I would go to work. And there were a whole lot of times, because I would talk to my ex when I was on my way home. So the kids like knew when I was going to be home, basically. There were so many times they would be waiting in the driveway, see me pulling into the neighborhood, and jump for joy. And it wasn't a show. I didn't record it. It was nothing fake. It was pure, genuine love for my kids. And dude, it felt so good. I don't have that anymore. I don't get to see that. And I hope it comes back. I hope that God will allow me to change for real. I pray that I will get another chance with my family, and she's given me plenty of chances. So if I don't, that's my fault. So, changing the topic. So I've been doing this in the oil field for about 3 years now. And it's different, man. Like, anybody can drive a truck down the highway. And I'm not saying that to be cocky. It's pretty easy. Like, you can train a monkey to do it. I was told that if you can survive one winter in the Wyoming oil field trucking or North Dakota, you can do anything in trucking. I've made it 3, and man, let's see, was it last winter? No, the year before last winter, right? 2 winters ago. Man, that was a brutal winter. And it tuned my driving skills in like crazy. And it's also funner. Like it's not so boring. It gets boring, but it's a whole lot funner out here than driving down a highway all day, I think. Okay, so another thing is like out here on these oil field roads, loaded trucks have the right of way. Now, like if it's a pickup truck, you let them, like if I have room, I'll pull over and let them by, because you never know who it is. It could be a company man, they could be needing to get somewhere in a hurry. So like the oil field rules, you pull over for the pickups, whether you're loaded or empty. But a semi, if they have room and they're in the appropriate area, if there's not going to be room for both trucks to go by, the empty one pulls over, let the loaded one through. Because for obvious reasons, it takes more to stop the loaded truck. Like right now, my net weight, meaning the weight just in my trailer, is 63,480. With a 33,000 pound truck and trailer empty. What is that? 63, 73, 83, 93. 90, almost 97,000 pounds I'm at right now. And a lot of times, like on these cattle guards, they get washed out, so you gotta be careful. What else is there to talk about on this drive? I tell you what, man, like, the loneliness that comes with being a trucker and the time you have to spend in your head, man, if I didn't have a relationship with the Lord, I would be miserable. Absolutely miserable. But He brings me peace. I have hard days. Just like anyone, just because you believe in Christ and you're working on your relationship with Him doesn't mean that problems end. Actually, a lot of times it's the opposite. Your faith is tested. That's what I'm going through right now, man. That is what I'm going through right now. That winter I was talking about 2 winters ago, there was a tanker. I was hauling production water at the time out here. There was a tanker. I think they said he was going like 9 miles an hour, and it was around a bend just like this one that I'm going around, about the same degree, but it was turning right, not left. It was so windy and there were whiteout conditions that the wind blew him and his trailer over. Crazy. I had to stop in the middle of the lease road one time because it just got white. Like I could not see an inch in front of me. It gets wild out here in the winter, man. It gets wild. I'll tell you a mess up I did. Ready to hear my stupidity? So I was new. At the time I was in a tank wagon, which is basically like a water truck, like a truck. There was no trailer. It was a truck with a tank on the truck, a big fuel tank. I think in the front compartment it held like 1,500 gallons, in the middle 3,500, and then in the rear 2,500. So it was a pretty good sized truck, but it was no trailer. Just I had my Class A, but it just required Class B, right? I'm going out to fuel at this place I had never fueled, and I'm looking for it to my left. Well, there's a big culvert on the right side. Man, this is what I'm saying. God has blessed me so many times. As I'm looking on the left, I fall into this culvert with my tank full of fuel, my truck. Dude, my truck, it felt like the wheels on my driver's side came off the ground and went back down. It was so scary. And then a gentleman was kind enough to pull over and help me out, tow me out. And then shortly after that, I'm driving. I'm empty, so I didn't have a lot of traction. It was icy. I'm driving, and on the highway, out of nowhere, I didn't hit the gas, I didn't touch the brake. I think what happened is I was in an automatic, and I think it downshifted because I just started fishtailing, man. I'm talking like crazy fishtailing, like completely sideways to the left, completely sideways to the right, like back and forth like 4 times. But dude, like my life flashed before my eyes. But it was so slow motion. It was crazy. That's another time God saved me. I know it. It's wild. I've learned a lot from experiences like that. Like on the ice, you want to have weight. You're going to be empty a lot. But you feel safer when you have weight. Because the more weight you have on your drive tires, the more traction you have. See, I didn't pull over for that pickup, and that other truck coming in didn't pull over for me because this road's plenty wide enough. It might not look like it on the camera, but these windmills are pretty neat, man. I'm so used to them, it's just another thing, but I'm from Arizona, so seeing stuff like this was rare, man. Now that I've been out here 10 years, it's just another day. It's kind of cool. Forgot to throw in my lockers. It's good to have your lockers in on gravel, because if you don't, you'll wear your front tires out quicker because they'll be spinning sometimes. Or if you have that rear axle locked in, it's like being in 4-wheel drive. That being said, be aware that when you do that in the ice or mud or whatever, your steering, it'll push you right through it. You'll go try and turn left or right, and keep going straight, bud. It's pretty out here in the spring, there for like a month, and then it goes away. This case I have is pretty handy, man. It's just a magnet, but it's pretty. This road is pretty rough, and it's never fallen. I used to bring my kids out with me, man. They loved it. I think my daughter just liked it because her Bubba loved it. My son loved it, man. I miss it. I could be doing it right now. Well, he's in school. They're in school right now, but you know what I mean? Weekends. Man, I used to bring my whole family with me. I miss those times. Made me feel good, you know? Made me feel proud. In a good way, not in a sinful way. Made me feel grateful, I guess is a better word. anyways, not much of a social guy. I'm trying to get better at that. But I'll cut out for a minute and then start again when we get back to location. When we get on to location, you guys can see what a frac site's like.